you guys, welcome back. Not quite sure what I'm going to be calling this. I guess January spending review. I mentioned in my last video, this is me still getting my feet wet, trying to figure out everything. Tracked our spending in January. I'm going to continue it into February to see, you know, if we've been able to pull in the reins a little bit as far as knowing now where most of the money's going or why it went where it went. So in January, let's move this calculator out of the way. Like I showed you guys in the last video, it looks crazy because of all the colors, but each color I tried to use to kind of separate what was what. And then I also realized in my cash stuffing I did last time for gas, I had put $200 in for myself. And in my head, it was for some reason in my head, it was the 2 weeks worth of gas, but it's actually the month worth of gas for me is right about $200. It didn't look as high going into when I was adding it up here, but it makes sense as to why when I look back in December, when I first started tracking all this in January. Yes, Daisy girl. What are you doing? And come join the video. So I went into January budgeting gas to be $400. And when I went to calculate all the gas that we had purchased in January, it only came out to $234.72. I was like, well, how did I double that in December? Or how did we do that? But it makes sense now when I went back and looked at all this. So my husband and I both commute for work. He controls a territory that he has to commute to a lot of different offices for. I only have to go to one specific office. We work for the same company. He's been there like 12 years, 13 years or something like that. I just hit my 5-year mark with the same company. We just do different things. So what made sense for me is I had kept track of December's gas at the end because it was leading into January. So we had gotten gas on the 27th and the 28th. That's how much driving that was done in that weekend. We had something to do for work there, which is why we drove so much. But then gas was also purchased on the 29th, which is why I put that down here because it was leading into January. So once I added up the gas that we had gotten in January, it only came out to, let's see, if you were to look, that's all that was done in January. So it was only $234.72. But if I added in the gas that we got going into January, then it makes more sense as to why I had the math the way I had it in my head to be more for the month, because we got gas going right into it. So if I stop at the 61.48 and the 52.89, gas is at $348.61 for us. But then if I go and add in this $58.82, brings us to $407. So for us, gas, this is our give or take. It's usually around this range just because we do both commute pretty much for work almost on a daily. And for me, I drive a Mini Cooper, so my gas is the premium gas, and that right now it's $5, and it was up to like $5.30 something at one point. But I've been trying to pay in cash, which is why I'm doing the cash stuffing, is because it's slightly cheaper when you pay cash because you're not being charged that debit card fee to use the machine and do the transaction. So I've been trying to pay with cash for gas so that I could save a little bit, you know. So for the most part, gas was around $234 for this last January. I just got gas a few days ago. Today's the 7th or 8th. Today's the 8th. I got gas on the 2nd, and I used cash, and I paid $50. I had gotten to like a quarter of a tank when I filled up, so it took the full 50. So So I just realized I gave myself gas for the month in my gas envelope. And so with miscellaneous stuff, I kind of added up to as far as like Target and Walmart, just for random things. We got him some new joggers. I got a Nintendo Switch for myself, which is this $348 right here, and that's not something I just drop on a regular every month, so that expense won't be there next month, which is why I want to keep track of February's expenses as well to see what the difference is. But from getting that, and if you play that with a friend, you need to get the online subscription, which isn't bad for a year. It's only 20 bucks. So there was that for the yearly subscription for online gaming. So with the miscellaneous, we ended up spending about, I didn't total that up, so let's see. So the Switch, $324.11 plus, I think it was this $43.76 is the game. I bought Animal Crossing. Comes out to $367 for that. My husband also bought some old school pumps or sneakers that he found. They were, I guess, childhood shoes for him when he was a kid. You know those sneakers that have the little air pump in the tongue? So that brings it to $531.16 for miscellaneous spending. Obviously, a huge chunk of that was the Nintendo Switch, which, you know, won't be there for next month or this month. Entertainment. What did I put under entertainment? So under entertainment would be like Netflix. What else did I put that under? Xbox was under miscellaneous. I'm trying to remember when I did that math, what that encompassed, that it came out to $656. Out to that, I'll have to backtrack and think. I'm thinking probably Etsy's in there, and Typo. It's like a stationery store, so I'm thinking that's what was in there. Groceries, we only went over by $4, which isn't bad. Animals, I cashed up $40 for animals as far as buying treats and cat litter and stuff. But this is $344 because that includes the pet insurance. What else do we do? So pet insurance, we got treats, cat litter, a couple dog toys, cat food, PetSmart, so that's what kind of is all wrapped up into there. Eating out in food was about $9.87. Now, we normally don't do that on a regular. Like, that's, to me, even when I did the math, I was like, where the hell did we go eat at? But that makes sense because even though we did do fast food budget and obviously blew through that, but last month, we lost unexpectedly one of our cats. So with that had hospital visit or emergency room visit. I was super obviously sad and I guess depressed about it, and there was just no way I was cooking. So in an effort to cheer me up, my husband took me to our Sharks game. He got tickets from a friend. We went to the game. We made a date night out of it. We went and ate at the Spaghetti Factory. So that kind of obviously bumped up the bill. The dinner was $111. We went to the game, which then we bought, you know, drinks at the game. So if you're at an arena, it's not not cheap for a drink. So a lot of it had to do with eating out and just a lot going on kind of middle of last month, to where it's just, I was not cooking. I just wasn't. So now that I've done the math for January, we're going to be a little bit more aware of it going into February, with as far as how much we eat out, because close to $1,000 bucks, that's so crazy. but knowing what happened during that month and why we ate where we ate and ate out was right around the time of that happening. So going into February, it should be significantly less, just because we know where a lot of the food money went as far as eating out. I'm not dropping, you know, another $300 on a game console and all that kind of stuff. So, but like I said, it's getting your feet wet, tracking your monthly expenses, so you can visually see where everything's going. Then you can from there, I've you know, seen in videos that you could then from there kind of hunker down and really get on top of your spending. We have a few things coming up this year that I definitely want to set aside money for and pay off and pay down. Our friend is getting married in April, so we had to, you know, pay for flights now. But I did create an expense track for when I transfer funds into our second account leading up to when we get to the hotel and have to pay for it. So I've budgeted for that. We're going to Mexico in August, so we've paid for the initial deposit for that, which is great with Costco. You don't have to come up with the funds right away. So I've budgeted through all the paychecks leading up to when we have to make the final payment. So going into February, this is it so far. He got a haircut, I got gas, he had lunch with a buddy. Him and I went and had lunch yesterday, and grocery store. So far this is February. January looks crazy and kind of sounds crazy as far as the eating out thing, but we did spend some extra money just for certain things that happen. And you know, you guys, I'm sure you guys know, like, if certain things happen, there's just no want to cook or do any of that. This notebook here, I wrote out, so I was kind of, the way I was doing it in my head was I wanted my husband's credit card to go down first, because his had the most amount on it, and I wanted to get all the others down and then do mine. But I did recently go down a Dave Ramsey rabbit hole, basically, and listen to a bunch of videos on YouTube of his radio show and things like that. So now I'm doing, basically the snowball method. From going from the lowest debt to the highest. So for us right now, as of today, so today's the 7th. So as of right now, we paid off one credit card already. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, that's a credit card too. So we have our Lowe's credit card, which has our washer and dryer on it. This is what's left. I recently just made another payment yesterday, I think, or was that today? So it knocked it down. We have until this coming November to pay it off, but I'm gonna, you know, shoot for obviously a lot sooner than that. The next one after is gonna be my Capital One. I got it under 2,000, but because I have a membership for Madam Glam, it's a gel polish brand on that credit card, I forgot to go pause that so that it stops charging my card. So it brought it back up over 2,000 by $5.87. So I need to go put a pause on that so that I can pay my card off. Our Sleep Number, we bought our bed end of not the end of last year, but maybe end of summer. We bought a Sleep Number bed. We just really needed to do that. So we are down, I think we originally bought the bed, I'm forgetting the beginning number, but we are now down to $38,1303. His Capital One, which is the highest card we have going right now, is $4,591.16. As of the 29th, it was $11,858.35. But I've since today done a payment on our Lowe's credit card for another $280 something. So that brought it down to $11,597.64. So my goal is we paid off our 2 cars. So we haven't had a car payment, officially paid off our car in December. So we didn't have a car payment in January. But what I did in January was I took that combined $600 that we would have paid between the 2 cars off, and I split it in between mine and his credit card. So what I'm going to do is get this down, continue to make the payments on these guys, and with any extra income is to pay each one going down. I'm going to treat it as if we still have those car payments and knock. Like this will go no problem. This will go pretty quick as well. We have until September, I think, to pay off the bed. Which if we knock these 2 down, this will be no problem. So yeah, so far that is our debt. Obviously, aside from our mortgage that we have, our debt right now sits at $11,597.64. I know it's not an extreme amount like some of the accounts I've watched, but those accounts inspired me to, get the ball going really on this. I was not being as on track. Like I kept telling myself in my head, I'm gonna keep paying as if we still have car payments on these other bills, but I just never kept myself in check with that. And with doing this and the cash envelopes and things like that I've gotten into, thanks to everybody that's doing the budgeting, it's going to help me give our dollars a job and get these debts paid down, and that way we can be debt free aside from the house. So that is my goal. My next video, I will be cash stuffing some extra income. I'm able to submit expenses through work. So that check that got deposited, I went and pulled it out. So that'll be the next video, but this is just where we sit right now as far as debt goes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if what works for you guys. Like for me, my husband's totally on board with me doing this, and he hasn't, said like, you're crazy, we have the money, just spend, what we have, or he's not doing any of that. So he's totally on board with all this and me and, wanting to stash and do the cash envelopes and stuff. So, what do you guys do to keep yourself in check? Like for me, I've been watching other videos just so that it keeps me going and it keeps me thinking, okay, if they're doing that way, let me try it. Right now I'm kind of picking at everybody's methods or ways of doing it and kind of making it my own and what'll work for us. We are a dual income household, but we also live in California, which is also really expensive. So yeah, I saw somebody the other day, they budgeted gas for themselves and it was only $60. I was like, oh, I so wish I so wish that was the case for me. But oh my gosh, filling a tank of gas for me right now is close to, I've hit $70 before on my Mini Cooper, which is just completely insane. It used to cost maybe $50 at like the most to fill my car in the past, and now it's pushing $70, which is just absolutely insane. So, oh yes, let me know what gas is where you guys are. Somebody was like, oh my gosh, my gas was $3. I'm like, oh, I so wish gas was $3 here, but it definitely is not. So all right, I will see you guys later. Bye.